Why are there not more people talking about the AI showdown between DeepSeek and ChatGPT? Hey everyone, Prig here. I've been swimming in the AI ocean for 5 years now, and today, I'm spilling the tea on DeepSeek AI versus ChatGPT. Ready for some amazing content?
What is DeepSeek? DeepSeek is an AI-powered tool designed to help people find information quickly and easily. Think of it like a super smart search assistant that understands what you're looking for and gives you accurate answers without making you dig through tons of results. Instead of just showing you links, it processes your question, looks at a bunch of data, and gives you a clear, direct response. It was developed by DeepSeek AI, a Chinese AI research company, and launched in late 2023.
In this video, let's directly compare DeepSeek R1 with OpenAI's O1. More specifically, let's dive into mathematical problem solving. Let's look into 3 problems from the Math 500 dataset and find out which of the 2 models do best in those. And then let's move on to math reasoning, and we'll do some logical reasoning, and eventually we'll just wrap up with some trick questions, and we'll conclude in the end. If we look at the figure in the paper, we can see that they have shown that DeepSeek does better than OpenAI. So this is DeepSeek and this is OpenAI, and this is in the math problem. So let's look into the Math 500 dataset, pick up a sample and test both the models to find out how DeepSeek does. So for that, I went into Hugging Face, and this is the Math 500 dataset. And under that, I filtered the test split, and under that, I randomly picked some geometry problems and also some algebra problems. We're going to test both the models with these samples to find out how well they do with the math problem. So let's start with ChatGPT. I've got this algebra problem, which is that, we got some value and we've got this equation, and we need to ask it to find out the value of x. So let's see how it does. So it's started with the equation, and it's going on to use the identity, which holds true, and then it's checking the validity and it's verifying the solution, and it confirms that the answer is 46. So let's try out the same problem with DeepSeek and find out how it goes. I'm going to disable R1 to make things simple just to begin with, and I'm going to ask the same question. It is taking much longer than OpenAI. All right, I have this trigonometry problem to solve, and it goes on looking for patterns or identities. So it doesn't give the outputs in step-by-step manner. It just walks us through its thought process, but the reasoning is much more elaborate and the explanation is much more elaborate. It's still going on. And in conclusion, we have 46. So both the models have got the right answer, which is 46. Let's now move on to some geometry problem. For the geometry problem, I've chosen this one, which is to find the area of the triangle. And I'm going to ask DeepSeek first to find out how it goes. It's still thinking. So while it keeps thinking, let's ask the same question to ChatGPT and find out how it goes. I'm asking the same question to find the area of the triangle. It gives the output in step-by-step manner. So step 1 is to compute the area of ABC. And the sides of triangle ABC are given us AB, AC, BC, and it goes to step 2, which is to compute CD, which is the height from C to AB. And then it gives the final answer 480 by 17, which is wrong actually. So the right answer is 3840 divided by 289. Meanwhile, DeepSeek says that the server is busy. So I'm going to try it out one more time, asking the same question to find out how it goes. It once again says the server is busy. So I'm going to try after some time. So this time it seems to be working fine. And it goes about saying that in triangle ABC, the lengths are AB, AC, BC. And then it comes with the sketch of the triangle as step 1, and step 2, checking if the triangle ABC is right angled, finding the distance and finding the coordinates of point D. It's simplifying the approach now. Step 7, use coordinates efficiently. Simplify the fraction. Oh, it got the right answer actually. So let's see if 3840 by 289 can be simplified. It's first checking, but actually this is the right answer, 2840 by 289. Final answer, the area of triangle is 2840 by 289. So it got the right answer, which the OpenAI model gave the wrong answer for. So that's impressive. So I've chosen one more geometry problem to ask both the models. So the question is, in the circle with center Q, radii AQ and BQ form a right angle. The 2 smaller regions are tangent semicircles as shown, but I'm not showing any figure here. The radius of the circle with center Q is 14 inches. What is the radius of the smaller semicircle express your answer as a common fraction. So let's find out how it goes. So it's trying to understand the problem. While this is running, I'm also going to ask the same question to DeepSeek. It takes a while. It's a little longer than OpenAI, but it's still running. Let's find out what it comes up with. Meanwhile, OpenAI has come up with these steps: understanding the problem, relationship between the semicircles, solving for R, and it's still solving. While this is solving, let's find out what DeepSeek is doing. It's still thinking. It's not doing anything at the moment. I won't be surprised if it gives a server busy error, but I will try it out again if it gives that error. So it came up with the right answer. So the OpenAI model came up with the right answer, which is 14/3. So while I ask the same question to DeepSeek, it goes on like this. So it's understanding the problem, visualizing the problem, defining variables, and it comes up with analyzing the geometry, locating the centers of the semicircles, solving for R. Let's solve for R. Factor out R. Now solve for R. To rationalize the denominator, multiply the numerator and denominator by the conjugate. Re-evaluating the approach. Maybe there's a simpler way to relate R and R. So let's think about the positions again, and it's trying to come up with a different approach using coordinate geometry. Solving the equation again. Again, it's looking for alternatives. Alternatively, perhaps we can find a better representation, and it goes on and on. Double checking the approach. So it's double checking the approach it took before. It's slowed down. Actually, it's time to give the answer. As we can see here, with ChatGPT, it just came up with simple steps and eventually came up with the right answer, which is 14/3. But with DeepSeek, we are still waiting for an answer. Let's see how it goes now. It's still calculating it. It still hasn't finished solving it. It says alternatively, perhaps the problem expects the answer, and still goes on and on. So finally, it has come up with the final answer after going through so many alternatives. We can see alternatively, and again, it says alternatively, perhaps the problem expects an approximation. Alternatively, perhaps the centers of the smaller semicircle lie on the angle bisector. Alternative approach. So doing all of that, it's come up with the answer, which is 14 times square root of 2 minus 1, which is actually wrong, unfortunately. So the answer is 14 divided by 3, and OpenAI seamlessly got the answer right in a few seconds. So let's ask one more question to wrap things up. I'm asking, let's stick with geometry and let's ask this question. We are given G and H, and they denote the centroid and orthocenter of triangle ABC respectively. Let F be the midpoint of GH. Express AF squared plus BF squared plus CF squared in terms of the side lengths A, B, and C, and circumradius R of the triangle ABC. The answer is just R squared. So let's find out how OpenAI deals with this. It's again going step by step. It prints step 1, defining points and key results. So last time I asked this question, it got it wrong. So let's find out how it goes this time. Simplifying the expression. So conclusion, thus we obtain AF squared plus BF squared plus CF squared is equal to 6R squared minus blah blah blah, which is actually a wrong answer. It got a similar answer last time, which was actually wrong. So let's move on to DeepSeek and find out how it addresses this problem. So now I've given the actual math problem to solve, and let's see what it comes up with. It generally gives a lot of reasoning when we enable DeepThink R1, which I've done. So we can expect a lot of text here, but definitely it keeps saying alternatively, since O is origin. So it once again got the answer right for this one. Basically, we can see that it says it's 3R squared, but it goes on saying that, however, the problem wants the answer in terms of the side lengths A, B, C, and R. So we need to express 3R squared in terms of ABC, and it keeps going on and on. It need not, because the answer is 3R squared. But again, wait, maybe not alternatively in the context of vectors. It went through a different approach and eventually come up with 3R squared. Therefore, the formula holds here as well. But then it got 3R squared. But in case of OpenAI, we can see that it didn't quite get to 3R squared. It's giving 6R squared minus A squared plus B squared plus C squared by 3. So I definitely have to give it up to DeepSeek here. It's done a better job in this one, even though it keeps still reasoning and it's throwing a bunch of text at us. So let's move on to some math reasoning and ask this question. A small number of cards has been lost from a full pack of 52. When I deal those to 4 people, I have 3 left over. If I deal to 3 people, I have 2 left over, and if I deal them to 5 people, I again have 2 left over. How many cards were there? I'm going to ask this first to ChatGPT, and the answer is 47. So let's find out how it reasons and comes up with this answer. To solve the problem, let's break it down step by step. Let n represent the number of cards remaining in the pack. We know that when n is divided by 4, there are 3 left over, and then it goes on doing the same for the other 2 scenarios. And step 1 is to solve the congruences, and step 2 is to solve for n, and then it moves on to step 3, find n within the range of standard deck. The total number of cards n must be less than 52. Since some cards were lost, then solving, it comes up with the answer. The number of cards remaining is 47. So it got the right answer there. We're going to ask the same question to DeepSeek now. So here I have it. I'm going to run it without enabling the deep thinking mode. I'm just going to ask the same question and find out how it goes. Thinking, all right, let me try to figure out this problem. So we have a full pack of 52 cards, but some cards have been lost. We need to find out how many cards are left. It's just repeating the problem. When dealing with 4, there are 3 left. When dealing with 3 people, there are 2 left. When dealing with 5, there are 2 left. That's all fine. Let me recall the Chinese reminder theorem. So OpenAI never did that, but here it's printing. Let me recall Chinese reminder theorem, which is useful for solving systems of congruences. Now, among these numbers, which are congruent to 2 mod 3, let's check each, blah, blah, blah. So once again, we have alternative kicking in. Alternatively, maybe I can approach this using equations. Then it's solving using equations. So the number of cards is 47. The only number less than 52 that satisfies all 3 congruences is 47. So it's verifying it, and then it's again saying the number of cards is 47. So that matches the answer from OpenAI. So there's a tie between the two in this one. Let's start with some reasoning questions. I'm asking, Jane went to visit Jill. Jill is Jane's only husband's mother-in-law's only husband's only daughter's only daughter. What relation is Jill to Jane? So let's ask ChatGPT first, and we can see that it started reasoning. Let's carefully analyze the given scenario step by step, and it comes up with this reasoning, and it says Jill is Jane's daughter. Now let's ask the same question to DeepSeek and see how it goes. It says thinking, okay, so I need to figure out how Jill is related to Jane based on the description given. That's fine. Let me break it down step by step, and it goes on and on. Next, we need to look at John's mother-in-law. Okay, fair enough. Moving on, fair enough. Let me trace it. So it has come up with the answer here. Therefore, Jill is Jane's daughter. That's the answer it has come up with. But then it continues on saying that alternative approach, let's map out relationship using family tree. It goes on, and then again it says alternatively, could mother-in-law here refer to John's own mother, and again it goes on. Again it says alternatively, maybe there's a different path, and then it goes on to reason in a different way. Eventually it comes up with Jill is Jane's daughter. So, and then gives a breakdown and eventually says that the answer is Jill is Jane's daughter, and it matches the answer which we got from ChatGPT. But the good thing with this is that this is quite concise and we could quickly read, and this level of reasoning is sufficient for a simple problem. But with DeepSeek, we can see that there's a huge answer before it actually gave us the right answer, but both the answers are the same.
If you use the DeepSeek website, I think it's important that you understand their privacy policy and their terms of use, because there is at least 3 very alarming things that I found in there when I was going through those documents. And I wanted to share this in this video because I'm making another video that I'm posting right after this one where I compared DeepSeek R1 versus ChatGPT's O1 model. But I want to make sure I have this in a dedicated video so you understand before you use the website exactly what you're going to agree to and how your data is going to be used. Okay, so the DeepSeek website, and where you could also use DeepSeek R1 over here, is at chat.deepseek.com. And if you click on your profile right here and go to settings, you'll see this option under profile where you could view the terms of use and the privacy policy. So I'll run the privacy policy through ChatGPT and I'll show you exactly the red flags that I found, and then I'll give you the prompt. You could do this for yourself too. And as I'm recording this, this was last updated in December 05, 2024. and I copied and pasted this entire document here. It's not very long actually. And my prompt was review the following privacy policy and terms of use in detail, identify any potential red flags, ambiguities, and concerning clause related to user privacy, liability, legal compliance, and user rights. Here is the document. And I started with just a privacy policy first. And let me walk you through some of these issues. So issue number 1 is related to transparency. The policy outlines various types of data collected: profile data, user input, automatically collected data, and third-party data. And it says right here, extensive user input collection. It will collect text, audio, uploaded files, chat history, feedback is all collected and stored, and it does not clarify how long the data is retained and whether it is anonymized before analysis. Now, there's no explicit mention if they use this to train their AI models, if user data is used for model improvement. And look at this one, keystroke pattern and rhythm collection. The policy mentions collecting keystroke patterns and rhythms, which could be a form of biometric data. Now, this is form of collecting sensitive personal data, and it says it may violate some laws, especially maybe in the EU, GDPR, those type of things. They do have a mobile app, which right now in the US is the #1 app in the App Store right now. And it says the company uses device ID, user ID, tracks user activity across multiple devices. And if I go back to the website, I clicked on settings, and this is literally the only options I have. I could change the language, I could change the theme, I could pretty much do nothing else besides delete my account, right? There's nothing else in the profile. I could delete my chats, and I could get the little chatbot here to check out their FAQ and things like that. But when I use ChatGPT, I mean, I have all the paid plans, so it by default doesn't use it to train their models. But even in the free plan, you have some options in the setting to change a lot of that. Here you have 0 settings to change anything. Now, that was all part of transparency and data collection. Data sharing with third parties is also mentioned here. The policy states that DeepSeek shares user data with advertiser and analytics partners, including data from activities on other websites and apps or in stores. This implies behavioral tracking and potential sales of data to targeted advertising. I know a lot of people don't like this. I know it's a business model of a lot of companies that offer a free service, but it's something that's usually hidden in the privacy policy. There is no mention of opting in or opting out of these options at all, like I mentioned. Now, this third one is probably the most concerning, related specifically to how the data is stored, okay? The policy states that all collected data is stored in servers in China. This is when you use the website. That's the case. There is a way around that where you don't use the website. I'll mention that in a second. But China's data laws, such as cybersecurity law and data security law, requires companies to share user data with the Chinese authorities when requested. Okay, so if DeepSeek has their data center in China, the government could at any time ask them to see that information. That's the law that is mentioning here. If DeepSeek has users in the regions like the EU and the US, this raises serious compliance, especially under things like GDPR, right? And international privacy laws. The privacy doesn't say anything about if users in the EU have their data processed differently in compliance with GDPR. So pretty sure it's not complying with that. And this point right here, data retention policy is vague. The policy states that the data is returned as long as necessary, but does not specify clear time frame. That's usually not the case. They usually could retain data in most apps for a certain period of time, but it doesn't say indefinitely usually. But user input includes sensitive chat history, may be stored indefinitely. No specific security standard mentioned. So this is related to security right here. There is no mention of encryption, two-factor authentication, access control to protect user data. Now, right here for children data collection, it says the app is not meant for anyone under 18, but it doesn't have much of age verification that I really noticed when I signed up. So that is not very clear, and how they would enforce that if you are under 18 and you're trying to use this app. Now, ChatGPT made this nice table here. So user data collection, concern level very high. Data sharing, concern level very high. The way they store the data. Data is stored in China, no mention of international transfer safeguards, very high. Now, I did the same thing with terms of use, which was updated January 20, 2025. Now, this is a much bigger document here, but a lot of the concerns are pretty much the same relating to how the data is collected and used. no guaranteed or explicit opt-out option for users to prevent their data from being used. I'll just go to the bottom here just to give you the recap here, and then I'll show you a few different ways that you could get around this and not use the website at all and still use DeepSeek. Okay, so right here, red flags and risks, the first one I just mentioned, no clear compliance with global privacy laws like GDPR, service can be modified, suspended, or terminated, that's normal right here. Users bear full responsibility for AI-generated output, that's normal. No dispute resolution outside of China. I'm assuming that's pretty normal for a Chinese company. Unclear whether users can request full data deletion, no transparency on how moderation decisions are made, unspecific duration for data retention. That's probably one of the bigger concerns with this document, and you mentioned in the privacy where they could just retain the data forever, I guess, and do whatever they want with it, train any model with it. There's no way to get out of that. Now right here it says proceed with caution. If you use DeepSeek for sensitive legal or business critical purposes, consider alternative providers that offer stronger privacy protection, clear legal compliance, and user rights safeguards. Okay, so what can you do about this? Because if you do use the website, the DeepSeek website, and the chatbot, and the mobile apps, that is all the things you're agreeing to. And I know I use AI every single day. I would not be okay with pretty much any of this here. But I wanted to make this video, and I'll show you some workarounds with this, because I just made a video comparing ChatGPT 01 with DeepSeek R1, and I use both of the websites just to make it an even comparison.
Hit that subscribe button and join our tech-savvy community today. By subscribing, you'll get exclusive access to tips, tricks, and the latest updates. Prig Tech, your friendly guide to mastering the iPhone 16. Don't miss out. Subscribe now and become part of the Prig Tech family.